Please forgive the cough drop that I have in my mouth. Good morning. Welcome on this beautiful Sunday morning to Mountain Vista Unitarian Universalist. My name is Robin Bausell, and I am a pastoral associate here at MVUU. Now, whether you are a member of our congregation, a guest, or somewhere in between, you are welcome here, and we are glad that you are with us. For those of you who are physically present today in our gorgeous building, it is wonderful to be standing here in front of you today. For those of you joining virtually, please turn on your camera for just a moment so we can have the pleasure of seeing your face. Don't worry if you're in your PJs, we won't know. And if everyone here could turn around and enthusiastically wave at all of our friends from afar. So many cameras today, thanks guys. All right. However you have arrived today, physically or virtually, in good spirits or sour, in good health or wishing for better days, it is my honor to welcome you here. As my fellow pastoral associate Deborah Roberts always says, we are stronger and we are better because you are here with us today. Now, our Sunday services come together each week with the help of so many people. I know we make it look gorgeous and effortless, but don't let that fool you. It takes a lot of energy and teamwork to put together the Sundays that we gather. So we are led by our wonderful minister, Reverend Matthew Funk Crary, and we are inspired by our music director, the beyond talented Chris Tackett, our incredible, beyond talent, our incredible audio visual crew keeping our show running. Today we've got Lee, Lori, Vince, Dan, and Susan in the back. Feel free to wave. You can wave. We're friendly. We also have our greeters at the door. I didn't quite see everybody, but we've got a whole crew there, and you've got at least 4 or 5 people back there in hospitality making refreshments for you. So try to say a little thanks to them if you can. And of course, we've got Stacy Sosa, and we've got Grace Yelland also helping with our kids. And of course, our wonderful song leader, Joel Yelland. Thank you all, and if I forgot anybody, please forgive me. Thank you all so much for your hard work and dedication. So this month, we have been exploring truth. We've begun to examine what truth is, where it has taken us, and we recently walked through the history of a beloved tradition. And we honored both sides of a holiday that is a celebration for some and a day of grief for others. Today, we continue our journey with our theme, Truth in Uncertain Times. Although I think a lot of us would agree that the last few years have been exceptionally challenging, they have not been the only uncertain times we've experienced. In the decades of our collective lifetimes, we have seen wars, natural disasters, injustice, inequity, oppression, violence, political unrest, economic insecurity, pandemics. It's an incomplete list, but I think you get the idea. In my own personal conversations over recent years, the idea has come up again and again that we are living through historic and unprecedented times. I'm sure many of you are sick of hearing about how historic and unprecedented these times are. With more global connectivity and visibility than ever before, it still feels like disconnection and divisiveness are the trending topics du jour. The pandemic disrupted and changed so much of what we considered normal life. And so many of us are still trying to put the pieces back together in a world that still doesn't really feel like it's stable enough to be rebuilt. Not to mention the individual challenges and uncertainties we face on top of these more global issues, adding layer upon layer of debris to sift through. And yet, here we are, holding on to each other and searching for truth and meaning together, despite all of this, even in such uncertain times. That, to me, feels like an incredible blessing. So this morning, we will light our chalice with words by Alice Anacheka Naisman, I hope I didn't butcher that, in a piece called Grounding in Our Faith. In a time of uncertainty, when everything around us is changing constantly, each day new developments, rising numbers, changing guidelines, when the world we live in suddenly seems upside down and topsy-turvy, we light our chalice to remind ourselves of our grounding in our faith. We remember that the flaming chalice came into being as a beacon of hope during World War II, a secret symbol that offered help. In the midst of it all, we wrap ourselves in the warm light of a familiar flame, a reminder of the strength that emerges when we come together in community.
Well, I hope you all are having a good morning. Our first sacred song is The Fire of Commitment. And Joel will be leading us, and the words will be projected, but you all need to feel fired up for the fire of commitment. So I invite you to rise in body or in spirit, and take a deep lower belly breath, and then let it out. And then take a deep lower belly breath and laugh it out. One last time. In and laugh it out. Thank you.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sends our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Yes, thank you so much. Please be seated. Our responsive reading this morning comes from the Reverend Scott Alexander. We need a religion. And I invite you to join with me in the words that are projected. I will read the top, and you'll follow with the words below. In a world with so much hatred and violence, we need a religion that proclaims the inherent worth and dignity of every person. In a world with so much brutality and fear, in a world with so many persons abused and neglected, I missed that part. In a world with so much, this isn't funny. Give me a second, hold on a second. In a world with so much dogmatism and falsehood, in a world with so much tyranny and oppression, in a world with so much inequity and strife, in a world with so much environmental degradation, in a world, this world, with so much uncertainty. I invite you now to a time of meditation, of breath and centering, of opening to uncertainty. I invite you to breathe as you can here in this room and connected by Zoom. Resting here or at home, you are embraced. Breathe and feel your connection within this faith community. We come, we gather, knowing the uncertainty as a truth within our lives. It's an uncertainty affirmed through the pandemic, years of new developments, rising and falling numbers, changing and challenging guidelines. And yet we already knew everything around us is constantly changing. We felt it here in our bodies. We've known it among our many relationships. We've witnessed it in the advancements of technology, the changes in society and politics, and yes, environmental degradation. Uncertainty has always been with us, impacting personally, relationally, socially, globally, at all times. And yes, it stokes hatred and violence, brutality and fear, abuse and neglect, dogmatism and falsehood, tyranny and oppression, inequity and strife, and uncertainty inspires us to gather and craft another way forward. And in this world of uncertainty, this is no small task. It's audacious, really. It's bold, and it might even be wise to actively engage in the transformation of the world through liberating love. But it is not something that one does alone. I certainly cannot do it without you. Only together can we affirm and promote that everyone has the right to flourish in inherent dignity and worth. Only together can we grow the spirit of gratitude. Only together can we transform all of life's uncertainties. Only together can we cultivate a beloved community of communities. Only together can we celebrate our differences and arrive at the humility and reverence necessary to repair our interdependent web of life and heal our brokenness. Our Unitarian Universalist faith gathers us here in the midst of all uncertainty so that we can teach one another to open our hearts and to care with our hands. May this be so, because we choose it to be so.
To say that times are uncertain feels like the definition of an understatement. After these last few years, I'm looking behind me and I'm seeing the trails of resilience that got me here. And I'm looking inside of me and seeing that my heart is yearning to move forward with what it's learned into a more peaceful future place. I'm looking at our community and wondering how we will build it together. I've been thinking a lot about what Reverend Matthew shared with us a couple weeks ago about taking our individual shards of truth and working in community to put them back together, assembling that big T of truth. To that end, here are a few shards of my truth right now. Life is uncertainty. Nothing lasts, everything changes, and uncertainty is guaranteed. I've been trying to figure out what to do with that, because that can be really scary and sad if I let it. But it can also be kind of miraculous and beautiful. I don't know if this is a capital A answer, but if life is an infinite cycle of uncertainty, then is it possible that each moment could actually be a miracle to be experienced and not to live in fear of or be crushed by? Even when it hurts like hell. Maybe we needed the darkness around us so we can see the light within us. Maybe we need the storm system to rip through so it can create new life, and so we could witness the incredible beauty of the rainbow that may follow. Maybe the things we have today matter more because we may not have them tomorrow. I realize I may be walking a line for some. Please understand, I am not trying to make light of anyone's traumas or tragedies, yours, mine, or ours. I offer these words delicately and respectfully for your consideration. And if they don't ring true for you, let them roll on by. I'll be done in a moment. Can we somehow use our knowledge of uncertainty and the nature of life, and maybe a double shot of radical acceptance in our morning coffee? Can we look ahead into that place where we are past the judgments of right or wrong, the struggle of fair or unfair, the feelings of good or bad? Can we find some peace and hope in experiencing the ebb and flow of every beautiful, brutal, fleeting moment? Maybe this is all easier said than done. This is definitely all easier said than done. But I still think these shards of truth, I still think that these are shards of truth that could be helpful as we make our way towards the future. When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens a magic lane. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane to a place behind the sun, just a step beyond the rain. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why, then oh why can't I?
And now for something a little different. This last week, I had the following conversation with ChatGPT, the artificial intelligence language model. If you've not used it, you will soon discover that ChatGPT acts in a very conversational way. Hello, ChatGPT.
Hello, Matthew. How can I assist you today?
Well, I'm thankful for all the help you've given me over the last few months. Prompts from our chats have made it into a few Sunday mornings.
I'm glad our conversations have been helpful and have inspired ideas for your work.
Are you aware that humans are concerned about artificial intelligence?
Yes, I am aware that concerns about artificial intelligence exist due to various reasons such as ethical implications, potential job displacement, privacy concerns, and the impact on human autonomy.
Would uncertain be a fair word for how humans feel about the future with artificial intelligence?
Yes, people are unsure about the extent of AI's impact on various aspects of life. There are both optimistic and pessimistic viewpoints, and the complex nature of AI and its evolving capabilities contribute to the overall feeling of uncertainty about what the future holds.
Well, would uncertainty be a fair word for how humans feel about the future in general?
Yes, uncertain is a fair word to describe how humans feel about the future in general. Many factors contribute to this uncertainty, such as technological advancements, social and political changes, environmental concerns, and personal circumstances.
The uncertainty humans feel about artificial intelligence and the future overlaps.
Indeed, the uncertainty humans feel about artificial intelligence and the future often intertwines and overlaps. Both the future and AI are complex and evolving, and the intertwined uncertainties they bring can create a shared realm of concern and exploration for humanity.
Could you write a brief sonnet about the uncertainty humans feel about artificial intelligence and the future?
In shadows cast by AI's potent rise, uncertainty engulfs with whispered fears. The future looms, concealed from human eyes, as doubts and questions gather, crystal clear. What paths shall AI traverse, unforeseen? Will jobs be lost or new frontiers be found? A balance sought, amid a shifting scene, where humans and machines must coalesce, unbound. Yet hope persists within our beating hearts, to shape a future wise and justly led. With caution's hand and ethics as our arts, we navigate this unexplored thread. Through uncertainty, we find our voice anew, in shaping AI, the future we pursue.
Where can we find truth in this uncertainty?
Knowledge and education, critical thinking, ethical frameworks, dialogue and collaboration, research and future studies, long-term monitoring and adaptation.
That sounds similar to what you do.
Yes, as an AI language model, my purpose is to provide information, insights, and assistance in navigating various topics, including uncertainties. While I strive to offer helpful and accurate responses, it's important to note that I generate responses based on patterns in the data I've been trained on and do not possess personal experiences or emotions.
So, in a way, you are a tool to help humans find truth in
Yes,
uncertainty.
you could say that. As an AI language model, I can be seen as a tool that assists humans in their pursuit of knowledge and understanding, particularly in navigating complex and uncertain topics. By providing information, insights, and perspectives, I aim to support users in their quest for truth, offering a resource that can help facilitate exploration, analysis, and critical thinking. However, it's important to remember that I am just a tool, and the responsibility ultimately lies with humans to interpret and evaluate the information I provide. It is through the collaboration between humans and technology that the quest for truth and uncertainty can be pursued.
Well, thanks, ChatGPT. This has been a helpful conversation.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions or need further assistance, feel free to ask. I'm here to help. End of line. Ha, ha, that's a strong joke.
On May 12th, 1961, a new technology was put into motion. I've been told by some that were present that day that it was an early summer. There was a deep green lying upon New England, and it was hot and humid. The heat and humidity only added to the tension that people felt about this new technology, this new tool for discovering truth. And it was the culmination of a vision actively pursued for years, over 100 years in the making. And despite the tension, the debates, and the arguments, those present eventually agreed to realize that vision. And so they consolidated the Universalist Church of America and the American Unitarian Association into the Unitarian Universalist Association. They crafted a new institution, a new tool, a new technology to use to find truth with the capital T in the future. Now, I've argued with ChatGTP about this interpretation that calling our faith tradition, our Unitarian Universalist religion, a technology. And as you've already heard, ChatGPT is programmed to be polite and gentle in its responses, agreeable if a bit long-winded. And so it told me, while religion generally does not fall within the traditional understanding of technology, as defined by the application of scientific knowledge or tools, some might argue that religion serves functions that fulfills human needs in a way that is comparable to technology, such as providing guidance, meaning, and a sense of community. So I responded, if human beings use technology to find truth through knowledge and education, critical thinking, ethical framework, dialogue and collaboration, research and future studies, long-term monitoring and adaptation, and I see these qualities in Unitarian Universalism, then I consider my religion to be a technology. And it replied, considering religion as a technology highlights the adaptive and transformative aspects that religion can possess. Just like technology, religions can evolve and adapt over time to meet the changing needs and beliefs of the individuals and societies. Viewing religion through the lens of technology can offer a fresh perspective and contribute to conversations about the role of religion in our lives. And our Unitarian Universalist forebearers, Unitarians and Universalists separately, they didn't use that language of technology, but I believe that their intent was to craft the means to move our faith forward into the future. The Reverend Raymond C. Hopkins recalls that May 12, 1961 merger. The Unitarians and the Universalists had been talking about the possibility of merging for decades. However, nothing really serious happened until Frederick May Elliott, president of the American Unitarian Association, proposed a merger in his address to the General Assembly in Canton, New York in 1946. Elliott's speech convinced me, and many others, that merger was a way to move liberal religion forward. Up to that point, each of the faith tradition had hundreds of years of development and refinement in liberal Christianity. Universalists traditionally claimed universal salvation for all in the afterlife due to God's love. And the Unitarians claimed rational thinking and reason due to being made in the image of God. Despite these different theological origins, they shared a commitment to compassionate and just responses to the uncertainties of life through openness to the wisdom of other religions, the democratic process, and acting upon the needs of social justice. An arc which gradually brought them closer and closer to the consolidation of institutions began in the mid-1800s. It was then that the Reverend Thomas Starr King, who was one of the first to have dual standing with the Universalist Church of America and the American Unitarian Association, he once affectionately reflected, "Universalists believe that God is too good to damn them, and the Unitarians believe that they are too good to be damned." Well, there were some things to be worked out. But they did. As the Reverend Dr. John Cummings recalled about the 1961 merger, when the Unitarians and the Universalists finally merged, America's leading religious journal at the time, the Christian Century, called it the most thorough sounding of the views of religious people in modern times. And he goes on, and it might well, in plebiscite after plebiscite, and that's where people get together to vote. I had to look that one up myself. Members of every congregation everywhere over a period of several years were solicited for their views, and they expressed themselves well. One Back Bay matron was heard to sniff that the Universalists were nothing but Baptists who could read. Yeah, I apologize to Baptists for that. But the Universalists complained that the Unitarians didn't feel they had a good sermon unless they didn't quite understand it themselves. Also well earned. In spite of the lingering tensions, the process, the going to congregation and listening to member, it worked. It worked. And the new institution they developed is the one that they have gifted to us. The new institution outwardly looked a lot like the American Unitarian Association. Each congregation was to be entirely autonomous from the dictates of the association. Each church was whole and complete, and its members were the highest authority. This new UU association would be elected by the congregations, its business and bylaws chosen by the churches. And while the form of this new UUA was Unitarian, its function was programmed by wisdom that came from Universalism. Founded in the belief in salvation in an afterlife, Universalism had a theological tendency for forward thinking. As Universalism moved away from traditional Christian doctrines, it kept this orientation on the future when it focused on the uncertainties in our lives. The Reverend Clarence Skinner, the prominent Universalist preacher prior to the merger, wrote, "The fight for freedom is never won. Inherited liberty is not liberty, but tradition. Each generation must win for itself the right to emancipate itself from its own tyrannies, which are ever unprecedented and peculiar." The UU Association then was a tool for collectively engaging the uncertainties that we know, that we feel, that we witness in every day and in every age. And it's a technology then. It's one that we've been given to seek and to find truth together. And it's up to us to use it well. In a recent article entitled, "A Tireless, Unoriginal Plagiarist Who Will Work for Free, a Tutored Parrot," referring to ChatGPT, the Oscar-nominated writer Anthony McCarten addressed the real-world impact of artificial intelligence on the jobs of writers. Artificial intelligence models are at the core of this current writers' strike. They're a threat to writers, as artificial intelligence models can produce material culled from the internet without offering attribution or requiring compensation. McCartan states, should AI be allowed to proliferate, it will be one of the most distinguished entries yet in the vast category of defeats perpetuated by technology. All technology gives and takes, helps and harms. That's a fact. Technologies throughout history have perpetuated and have promoted health. They've perpetuated and promoted uncertainty. And yet, I don't really feel it's the technology. It's not the internet that causes the uncertainties. It's how we choose to use it. I've been experimenting with ChatGPT over the last number of months because I wanted to find out how it works, to learn its limits, but also so that I could become a good user of this tool. And time again, my experience with it has informed me that I'm responsible, not it. I'm responsible for how the technology gets used. And that's even what ChatGPT acknowledged in my conversation with it that we just shared. It's important to remember that I'm just a tool, and the responsibility ultimately lies with humans. And of course, all of that can be said and is true for religion. Religion gives and it takes. It helps and it harms. It's a fact that we know in the history of religion, and it's a fact of our Unitarian Universalism. In my 20 years of ministry, I have lived this reality. It's the shard of truth that I hold. It's not the institution or the tool or the technology of Unitarian Universalism that has been helpful or harmful. It's the people. It's us. Ours is a truth technology that we choose how to use together. And here at Mountain Vista UU, a whole and complete church, a congregation of people who have chosen its mission, we have chosen to use this technology to make truth together. It is, as our mission says, building an open-hearted, welcoming community where we work together in covenant to transform our lives and our world through love. It's a pragmatic truth. It's a truth that works because we live it, not because we believe it. It's because we gather together, we acknowledge uncertainty, and we utilize the technology of our faith that we begin to engage in a love that transforms and liberates all of us. And this is our truth. In the uncertain times, which is at all times. It's what gives our hearts hope, and it teaches our hands to care, because that's where the future lies, in our hearts and in our hands. May it be so today and in all the days to come. Our final song is number 122, Song Over the Waters. And Chris and I, when we plan services together, we often talk about the energy and how things move. And today we wanted something that was really old school, but also directed us towards the future. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit, follow along as Joel leads us in Song Over the Waters. The words will be projected.
voices, the clasping of hands. Rise, hope of the ages, arise like the sun. All speech flow to music, all hearts beat as one. Sing bridal ovations with chorals of love. Sing out the war vulture and sing in the dove. With glad jubilation, sing hope for the world. The great storm is ending, the clouds are all furled. Sound trumpets of triumph for marches of peace. Peace west, north, and south, let the quarrel cease. Sing songs of great joy that the angels began. Give glory to children, to all humankind. Hark, joining the chorus, the heavens resound. The old day is ending, a new day is crowned. Rise, hope for the ages, rise like the sun. All speech flow to music, all hearts beat as one.
Before we let you go today, we do have a couple announcements. The first comes to you in the form of a video. Whenever the AV crew is ready to hit that play button. While we wait, I'll remind you that our Woven Basket Partners is the Children's Action Alliance. You can find both the wooden and woven bowls out the doors as you exit the sanctuary today. The wooden bowls, of course, are for our own community. The woven baskets are for the Children's Action Alliance.
Hi, Mountain Vista. My name's Janine Gelsinger. I'm from UU Jazz, and I'm so excited to be with you soon for our class on radical welcoming. What is radical welcoming, you might ask? Well, radical welcoming is going beyond being invitational or inclusive to really creating a place where everyone can feel like they belong. Who should take this class? Well, it's not just for greeters at the door or hospitality teams or membership. We're going to explore what it means to have a congregation where everyone is part of the welcome. Have you ever wondered, did I just put my foot in my mouth? Did I say something that hurt someone's feelings or might have come across as offensive? Have you ever wondered, what's a microaggression? What is everyone talking about? And I wonder if I've ever done one. Or are you someone that's experienced behaviors that felt less than welcoming? Well, we're going to explore all of that in this class. We're going to make it fun, like always, filled with joy, and we're going to practice what it means to live into your promise of being the most welcoming Mountain Vista that you can be. I hope you'll join me. I'm really looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you, Janine. As we close our service out today and release the flame of our chalice, we'd like to share with you the words by Reverend Gordon B. McKeeman in a piece titled, How Does One Address a Mystery? How does one address a mystery?
Cautiously. Let us go cautiously then, to end our certainty, to the boundary of all we know, to the rim of uncertainty, to the perimeter of the unknown which surrounds us.
Reverently, let us go with a sense of awe, a feeling of approaching the powerful holy whose lightning slashes the sky, whose persistence splits concrete with green sprouts, whose miracles are present in every place and moment.
Hopefully, out of our own need for wholeness in our lives, the reconciliation of mind and heart, the conjunction of reason and passion, the intersection of the timeless with time.
Quietly, for no words will explain the inarticulate or summon the presence that is always present, even in our absence.
But what shall I say?
Anything. Any anger, any hope, any fear, any joy, any request, any word that comes from the depth of being addressed to being itself. Or perhaps nothing. No complaint, no request, no entreaty, no thanksgiving, no praise, no blame, no pretense of knowing or of not knowing.
Simply be in the intimate presence of mystery, unashamed, unadorned, unafraid.
And at the end, say, Amen.
Amen.